seen a blind man cross the road, trying to make the sun. Ever seen a young girl growing, trying to make herself run. So what becomes minor?
Pray that he's still out there. Somewhere.
Hello and welcome. It's great to be with you here today. Thank you for joining Eating While Honey and Locusts, and I'm Cepher Chanoch. Just before the start of this program, we've had a few technical hiccups, so we just have to go with the flow and see what happens. We've got a few things going on in the background and waiting for Stephen to join, but I'm going to continue with the program. You know, I can understand why these technicalities come in, especially all at the last moment, simply because today has been a program when considering what to do, where you just have to wait and be open to what the Ruach HaKodesh is saying at such a time. And, you know, we really, Dr. Stephen and I don't have a script for today, but I felt that it was important to be led by the Ruach HaKodesh and to share from my heart with you. And I'm sure that Stephen, he is always led that way anyway. But, you know, sometimes when you follow in that level of obedience, there's a hard responsibility with that. The weight is heavy for something like that because you're having to go in pure and sheer obedience. And that's what it is today. You know, like I just said, I want to share from my heart. And when I say I want to share from my heart, I want to share from the book of Enoch. Look, this book is extraordinary. You know this. It's not exclusive just to me. I know that the majority of our viewers here echo what I'm saying right now. And then there are others on the path and the new journey of finding out what this book is. It is not just a story. It is not history. I refute that. I actually rebuke that as well. You know, when we were in Wales with Dr. Stephen and with his wife Stephanie and the wider Cepher community family staff, there was one person that said to me, oh, the book of Enoch and all these other extra biblical books are okay in context, but they're historical. They have no authority. That's rubbish. I completely disagree with that. You know, we've got a guest coming on soon called Sen Garcia, who's very good friends already with Dr. Stephen. And his son, just last week in a broadcast, said to his dad, you know, since 2019, I've discovered that all these theologians are just idiots. Now, I know that sounds really critical of me to say, but actually, it's quite a specific fact. I have not seen since 2019, and I say this from some experience, because just before we entered into the pandemic, I was going through hours and hours of a research degree in church leadership. Do you know that none of that was relevant to anything to do with practicality of day-to-day ministry on a pastoral front? Church history has its place, but where is its place when you're on the pulpit, when you're leading people, when you're needing to speak to them about the word? It's not there in the context that it was being thought to me. And I saw that all these leading theologians in different fields, Pentecostalism, the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to say, they did not know how to address and answer the times that we were in. And that just radicalized everything for my family and I. We just had to move away. That was the beginning of seeing, right, we're really having to move out of Babylon and this old system. This book is sacred. I am 100% convinced of that, along with the other books like Jasher and Jubilees. And you're going to hear me saying so much how these books complement and confirm and affirm the book of Enoch here today. I've been quite inspired with some of the recent teachings that Dr. Pidgeon has brought out through the different academy courses that lead me to share like this with you today. And I'll be drawing on a lot of his teaching as well, and from what Shane and I get together in our studies and what we bring you. But this is so important. Look, this book, this very book, from Yahushua's time, from Yahuwah's time, right to present day, by his own people, they're at his own land, refute this book. They're like the Pharisee spirit, all, always there looking and pointing the finger. But within their own canon, within their own Tanakh, they refuse this book. That reminds me of what's written in Revelation 2, where it talks about the synagogue of Satan. I know your works, your tribulation and poverty, but you are rich. I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, the Yuhadim, who are not, but they are the synagogue of Satan. Revelation 3:9 says the same thing. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, who says there are Jews that are not. Why? Because they lie. What this is recognizing is this Pharisee spirit, this spirit of lying, the spirit of deception. And this book, this powerful book, it is our navigation. It's our GPS for 2022 going forward into the 7 years of tribulation, going forward in these times. That is our navigational system. I'm not just wearing the hat of talking against the people that refuse Yahuwah. I'm not talking, because it's not about going from one hat of Torah and then going into Christendom. Equally, these hirelings, the hireling shepherds that I speak of so often, they have failed us too. For the last 3 years especially, all you've heard them say is walk in Hebrews, put on the shield of faith, put on the helmet. They never go further than showing you how to proceed in warfare. So how are people supposed to understand the times that we're living in? How are people to understand how to live, how to fortify, how to strengthen themselves, if that's what you're getting from the pulpit? The word church means circa. The root word of circa means circus. We've been living in a circus, I would say, when it comes to these type of things from the pulpit for the last 3 years, for sure. There's that saying, we said it in our last program on Friday, the world is a stage and we're all the actors, we're all the props. That's exactly what this has been like. Look, the church, the Christendom, the hireling shepherds, they refuse to acknowledge this book, this wonderful book that is so relevant for our times. But people, church fathers like Origen, Justin Martyr, Tertullian, they saw the importance from their generation to our generation of this context, of this text. That's how important it is. It's critical for everyone today. And we have to go beyond the lying pen of the scribes. We have to go beyond the Jesuit, the Catholic Church, the Masonry, the Babylonian spirit of worship and worshippers that have hidden this from us because it's instrumental. When I was a teenager, and this is digressing, so I'm going to come back, there was a beautiful person, a friend of mine from Ethiopia. He must have been 10 years older than me, and his name was Tetlu. Now, he was broken because he saw his father and his mother shot, killed in front of him, and so he had to flee, and that's how he came to the UK. One of the few things that he managed to bring with him was his Ethiopian Bible. And now I see the importance, because it's sealed within my memory banks, what I saw of that Bible, a beautiful leather Bible with a gold clasp. And when you open it up, alongside the text, it looks like you're looking at a gallery. The quality of the drawings were amazing. And she showed me the book of Enoch, and I saw the chariots of fire. And I still to this day see that. You see, they acknowledge that text. They see how important it is. And we have to understand this, because it is here for our survival. It is here for us. And that is why we do these programs. That's why we partner with Dr. Pidgeon, so that we can bring this power and this insightfulness in this time, while time remains, to show you this. That's how critical, that's how important this is. you know, and I'm fueled and I'm impassioned and I have an indignation. Hopefully you can see that all coming through. I don't mean to be critical, but it's a spiritual righteousness and a spiritual anger that I feel today. Why? Because we care for each and every one of you. And it is important in these times we know how to live corporately and individually to go through and strengthen ourselves and walk these times. I'm simply going to read to you all of Enoch 1, okay, verse by verse, and break it down because there are some great dynamics here. Let's start with the Enoch 1, chapter 1, and it says this: the word of the blessing of Hanoch, how he blessed the elect and the righteous, who were to exist in the time of trouble. Look, straight away over there, the blessing of Enoch, how he blessed the elect and the righteous. That's us, that's this generation now, who were to exist in the time of trouble. That time of trouble is the time of Jacob's trouble, as mentioned in the book of Daniel. What I'm trying to show you is that this was written to us, despite the pen of the scribes hiding it from us. And that we should understand that this is for us. And that's where my fury is, because this has been hidden from us for so long. It goes on to say, rejecting all unrighteousness and wickedness for Hanoch. Now, that's about his character. But you see, what I want to bring out there is that he walked in rejecting unrighteousness and wickedness. We are called into the same lifestyle, into the same walk. That's what we're called to do, to walk in that level of integrity, of holiness, and our faith. It goes on to say, he walked with Elohim and he answered him and spoke to him with his eyes open. Now, it's really important to say this, right? It was a night vision that he had. But in this night vision, it's showing you, one, that his eyes were open, two, that he was walking with Elohim, and he had a holy vision in heaven. And then the angels are showing him, from them I heard all things and understood what I saw, that which will not take place in this generation. That's his generation. But in a generation which is to succeed at a distant period on account of the elect. Now, this is so, so powerful. We are that generation of the distant period. And on the account of the elect, Dr. P quite recently said something that I absolutely was blown away with, and it's to do with that word elect. He said that the word first emerge of elect in Enoch 3. And actually, here it is. We're seeing it right now. Before you go into the Gospels, before you go into the New Testament, you're seeing it for yourself that it was first established here. Upon their account, I spoke and conversed with him who will go forth from his habitation. That is Elohim himself. To me, that just sets me on fire when I see the revelation of that, when I have the understanding and depth of that. But Dr. P gave more. He said this in Luke. It is mentioned, it's not mentioned, it's omitted. But when Yahushua was transcending, going into the transfiguration, Yahuwah said, this is my son, the elect one. Hear him. Listen to that again. This is my son, the elect one. Hear him. So that is who we model ourselves of. There is no chief cornerstone other than him that we can model ourselves against. Here we're seeing Enoch hating wickedness, walking in righteousness. But can you see what the significance of elect means? It's not only about setting yourself apart, it's fashioning yourself like Yahushua. That excites me. That gives me hope. That gives me energy. That gives me strength to carry on and to keep on being strong. Upon their account, I spoke and conversed with him, who will go forth in his habitation, the holy and the mighty one, the Elohim of this world, who will thereafter tread Mount Sinai and appear with the hosts and be manifest in the strength of his power. I recall Dr. P bringing that into the context of that to do specifically with Moses, those two verses 4 and 5. And then it completely changes. Actually, 5 here says, who shall be afraid and the watchers terrified? So you know that is to do with the flood. You know that is to do with Moses. And then it completely does a turnaround. And verse 6, great fear and trembling shall seize them, even to the ends of the earth. The lofty mountains shall be troubled, and the exalted hills depressed, melting like a honeycomb in the flame. The earth shall be immersed, and all things which are in it shall perish, while judgment shall come upon all, even upon the righteous, even upon the righteous. But what you see there in those 2, 6 to 7, it's talking about the tribulation. Can you see how this one chapter so far is speaking from that generation? He saw the vision to our generation now. Why? Because no other generation globally in our lifetime has been through what we have experienced in the last couple of years and what we will experience. And that's why I'm so convinced, and I know that I know, and I want to get this message out because we care. We have a burning. We want you to walk with us, not a crooked path, but the straight path. That's what we want. This is the beauty as this chapter ends. But to them shall he give peace. He shall guard the elect, and towards them exercise clemency. I absolutely love that. Exercise clemency, exercise protection. That's meaning. Then shall all belong to Yahuwah be happy and blessed, and the splendor of Yahuwah shall illuminate them. Wow, that's powerful. You know, when I see scripture like that, I take that and I put that into my prayer life so that my prayer life carries the authority of the word. That's how important it is. What those final verses there are saying, this is the protection of the remnant of Yahuwah's people, even throughout the great tribulation. And I hold on to that. I hold on to that so much. And I want you to hold on to that. I want you to dig into this word. I want you to dig into these extra books and see that they are your GPS for now. They are your strength. They are your shield. They are your fortress. And this is how we get by. It's not only about being supported corporately through these programs and the teaching that Dr. P brings on the different days. Right? It is about us searching the word for ourselves and having a fluency within our temple coming out from our mouth that we understand what we ought to do. Just like the sons of Issachar, they knew what they had to do for Israel. That is how we have to be. You know, if you go to the book directly after Enoch, that's the book of Jasher, what I've discovered is Jasher and Jubilees show us so much about these tribulating times, but also they affirm, they confirm, they testify the book of Enoch, you know, and I just find that so beautiful. Why? Because it's been hidden for us for so long. And I'm mad about that, because look where our spirituality could be. Look where this generation could be. Look where these nations could be if we were not hidden from the truth. So do you see the work that, without putting honor on a man, that Cepher and people like this have at this time in these closed hours that we have? It's tremendous. And we've got to do our part. We've got to take our part. And for me, make in your room where you are watching this your holy place, your place of habitation. These aren't just programs. These are places that can be the secret place where you connect with the Ruach HaKodesh, and his presence comes in where you are and shows you how you need to adjust, how you need to navigate, how you need to make him your navigation. You know, look, I love Jubilees 4. It says this, right? He saw and he understood everything. It's talking about Enoch, and wrote his testimony and placed that testimony on earth for all children of men and for all generations. That's confirming Enoch 1 and the whole chapter for all generations, from his Enoch's generation to our generation. That is affirmed in Jubilees 4 verse 16. And then also in Jubilees 10, okay, 15 to 17, but I'm just surmising. It says this, again, confirming what we have just read throughout the first chapter of Enoch, that Enoch had a life that excelled other children of men. Why? Because he was righteous. He was called unto righteousness. He was perfected, and he lived that way. He had a specific office where he was ordained to be a testimony to the nations, abstaining from evil. that he will and would recount the deeds from generation unto generation. And what I'm doing to you today is I am recounting his act, what he had wrote down. Why? Because it says, till the day of judgment. I can't enforce to you more than I am already. Till the day of judgment. We are in those times. We are seeing the judgments. You've seen program after program we have presented to you about the seals and how they're unfolding and where we need to be positioned. This is all about positioning, guys. This is all about positioning here. Joshua 3 says this, and it's just beautiful. This breaks my heart. It brings tears to me. It excites me. Like Mary, when she saw the other Mary, she leaped in her heart. This is how I feel when I hear this, when I read this. Joshua 3, verse 2. Let me get there to you. It's so beautiful. It's so powerful. It's inspiring. It simply says this, and the soul of Enoch was wrapped up in the instructions of Yahuwah in knowledge and understanding. And he wisely retired from the sons of man and secreted himself from them for many days. That end part, I like to get Dr. P to give us more understanding, but I want to focus on the first part. The soul of Enoch was wrapped up in the instructions of Yahuwah in knowledge and understanding. That is what I desire for myself. That is what I desire for each and every one of you. Otherwise, Shane, Stephen, and I would not do what we're doing. There is a purpose that you are wrapped up in his understanding of the word and knowledge of the word. That is our prayer for you. That is how we hold you up in these times. And then Joshua 4 goes on to say, and he said, rise, go forth from your house and from the place where you do hide yourself and appear to the sons of man in order that you may teach them the way in which they should go and the work that they must accomplish to enter into the works of Elohim. And then he rose up. Listen, that's just not a commission just for Enoch. That is a commission for you and I. We must rise up. We must go out. And we must accomplish much and show how to achieve the ways of Elohim by living in the Torah, becoming the Torah. I always remember Ezekiel saying, I stand on the word, I eat the word. That's exactly how we have to be. I'm impassioned for you today. I'm impassioned for you today. And I just sense that there is more to come for you. And so I want to invoke you in that area, in this hour of this programming that we have, that we stretch ourselves, that we move in this area. This is how I want to end. This is so beautiful. It says in Joshua 3:20, the sons of men were greatly afraid of Enoch because they feared to approach him. And here is the crux. This is the reason why. On account of the Elohim-like awe that he had upon his countenance. Oh boy, I would love for you and I to be a testimony of that countenance. And we can be that called out assembly, and we can be that remnant. In order to do that, we need to come out of Babylon. In order to do that, we need to see for each and every one of us in retrospection, introspection, what we need to do to walk in holiness, to walk in righteousness, to be the elect, to be the set apart. Yahusha is asking us to be that generation that no other generation has fulfilled, even in this time of destruction and tribulation. So I want to leave that with you because these 3 books are so powerful. They're not stories. They are not history. They fill in the nooks and crannies of our life. They're our commission. It brings us closer in prayer, in verbalizing prayer to Yahusha, to Yahuwah, and living in kingdom impact through the power of the Ruach HaKodesh. And that's what I want to leave you with today. You are all so precious to us. And I pray this word makes an impartation into your lives, physically and spiritually. Thank you.
Ever seen a blind man cross the road, trying to make the other side? Ever seen a young girl growing old, trying to make herself a bride? So what becomes of you, my love?
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Pray that he's still out there. Somewhere.